to Get Seen, Be Heard. I'm Karen Yankovich. I'm a social media brand strategist, and I've got Christina Daves with me, a PR expert. She's my co-host, and we're really excited today to bring Viveka Von Rosen with us. She is a LinkedIn expert, and she is a LinkedIn expert here on Blab and across lots of social media. And I'm a LinkedIn geek, so I'm really excited to kind of see what kinds of shenanigans we can come up with today, and talk about LinkedIn and what we find is powerful. I'd love to know specifically to getting seen and being heard, right? Really positioning yourself to get your name and your business seen by more people. Exactly. So we're excited to have you here today. Christina, do you want to tell everybody a little bit about you and what's going on in your world?
Sure. I'm Christina Daves, founder of PR for Anyone. My passion is to help business owners like you get exposure and get publicity, because nobody can afford publicists or advertising. So, I just love to show people creative ways to get publicity. And every week I kind of talk about what's going on in the world and kind of throwing ideas out there. Of course, this week with ISIS is a nightmare. Yeah. And as a parent, I even emailed a psychologist that I know who's a regular on the Today Show. And I said, Elizabeth, you need to pitch this story. How do we talk to our kids about ISIS? My 15-year-old daughter, said, Mom, we're targeted because we live in DC. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know what to say. I'm trying to keep the conversation open, but, psychologists, military experts, security people, this is an opportune time to pick up the phone and call your local media and be that expert and get exposure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how about you, Karen? I know there's always updates and everything. So on social media.
Christina, I had a lot of questions this week about what to do with your social media in light of what's going on in the world. And I was actually at a conference on Friday and Saturday, and I'm a big proponent. If you've got stuff scheduled, you've got to look to see what you've got scheduled, right? I'm not saying stop the schedule, but look to see what you've got scheduled. Make sure that in light of the events of the world that you still want to say those things. So, and I remember very vividly when the Sandy Hook tragedy happened. I don't remember what I had posted on Facebook, but I remember saying, I don't want to post that today. So it wasn't that business stopped, but it was that just take a look at it. But I personally got like 4 tweets from people that day saying that I was being disrespectful by continuing to tweet blog posts and things like that. And I disagree with that. And it was, so I had some conversations with people at the conference. Of course you want to be respectful and you want to pay your respects if that's what you want to do and talk about it and, give your love and support to whatever it is you feel you need to do that to. But, I kind of feel like business has to go on, or we're letting, we're letting them win, I guess. And that sounds like such a crazy thing. But I had a lot of conversations with people about that this week where I said, I believe it's okay if you're being respectful to continue to tweet about your business and continue to talk about business things. But it was a very hot topic in the social media world.
Yeah. It's interesting because I remember when the Colorado Springs, we had a shooting on, I think it was Halloween. And you had to be careful because there were a lot of people still talking about, come to our Halloween party downtown Colorado Springs. It's kind of like, you realize 4 people just got shot dead, right? So I think keep on with your content. Just make sure it's not in direct, conflict with the conflict going on. And then also, I hate it when people use tragedy to promote their stuff. Yeah. Like that's just obviously, don't do that, in any way, shape or form.
Yeah, I agree. But I literally had 4 people tweet me telling me that I was being like that. I don't even know. They're not even people that said you may want to. They were just like, it's time to stop that automated tweeting, for a couple of days. It's like, really? Like that's what you want to reach out and talk to me about? Like, so many other conversations we could have had before today.
Right. This is the one time you reach out to me.
Yeah. So it took me by surprise a little. I was like, am I being disrespectful? Right. Like I really had to stop and think hard about what I was doing and make sure that I still was okay with it, because I was kind of blown away by people really feeling that strongly about it.
Yeah. And I'd love to ask you two, as social media experts, how do you feel when it came out that ISIS uses social media to, like the Snapchat version of whatever, that's how they communicate with each other. It's kind of like, oh, should we just shut all social media down? What's the answer?
Well, it's interesting because I get requests all the time from people overseas to help them with their LinkedIn and help train in LinkedIn. And I hated the fact, but I actually went, am I helping anyone in ISIS? Because I have a lot of folks from the Middle East, and I hate the fact that they are making me go, oh, well, everyone from the Middle East is obviously terrorist. Of course that's not true. But it made me think, and how often, and I was actually thinking about this earlier today, are my ebooks helping people from ISIS to recruit people on LinkedIn, right? And so and we can't stop because it's also helping millions of entrepreneurs develop their business and have successful business, which is supporting the U.S. and the U.S. economy. But it does, especially when you're, as both of you are, influencers in this space, how is our content helping companies, and what do we do about it? Can we do anything about it?
I know it is. I mean, it is helping them, but I don't know. I don't think there is anything we can do about it.
Right.
I think about during, I don't know how we got off on total tangent, but it's a good conversation.
We'll pull it back in a minute.
We'll talk about LinkedIn later.
So my family has a place in Deerfield Beach, Florida, and there's a hotel in Deerfield Beach that the people that bombed 9/11 stayed in that hotel.
Right.
Every time I drive past that hotel, of course, that's what I think about, but I think to myself, the hotel owners don't, I feel so bad for the hotel owners, right? Because that's what they're known for now. And
yeah.
Should they have known? I don't know if they shouldn't have known, but I think that we have to run our businesses in as ethical a way as we know how. And then just, so it's the same kind of thing that I was feeling when I was getting those tweets, Viveka, was like, you stop and think, am I doing, what am I doing? But Christina, to your question, I think that we have to understand that this is the world we live in. We can't shut social media down because people are using it in the wrong way. We have to think about all the good it does in these situations. Facebook coming up with the I'm safe little app.
I thought that was amazing.
Absolutely, it's awesome. So we have to think about all the good social media does in these environments, and I think that does outweigh the fact that yes, it's going to be used to bad ways as well. Yeah.
I had 3 friends over in Paris, and and one of them didn't check in for the longest time, and I'm like, Emmerich, are you safe?
Yeah.
And he was.
Karen and I have a mutual friend. I was doing the same thing. I was texting. I'm like, oh my God, are you okay?
I know,
exactly.
Me too. I was as well. And
it was like 3:00 in the morning their time.
Right.
Well, they're probably sleeping.
I know.
All right, so that's our update of the week with world issues.
Yeah.
So now let's introduce Viveka. So Viveka, why don't you just tell? I think a lot of people here know about you; they're excited. But tell us about you, what you do, and I'll let you two dig into LinkedIn. I'm just going to take notes and ask questions.
And I'm going to try not to bitch the whole time. I'm a LinkedIn trainer and consultant. I only do LinkedIn. I help corporations, individuals, executives, entrepreneurs, small business owners, basically create a LinkedIn presence that helps them to attract more business. I'm a big fan of inbound marketing because I hate cold calling. How to create, how to do content marketing on LinkedIn with Publisher, how to use LinkedIn for lead generation, how to develop those relationships, how to nurture those relationships using LinkedIn. And though I focus mostly on the B2B, I do a lot of business to government, business to education, and some business to consumer as well, but mostly in that B2B and mostly with sales teams with lead gen trainings. But yeah, I've been doing that. I wrote a couple books, I guess now on it. LinkedIn Marketing an Hour a Day, a Wiley imprint, and then the new one is LinkedIn Security, Who's Watching You, which is ironically or not ironically, kind of about this, like how do you keep yourself safe on LinkedIn with all the phishing schemes out there, without all the scammers and the spammers out there abusing our social networks? But how much is too much? Where do you draw the line? Do you stick your head in the sand and go, well, I'm not going to use LinkedIn or any social network because that'll keep me safe, because it won't. Or where do you play in that space? So that's really the concerns that particular book addresses. And that's what I'm working on right now.
Yeah, no, that's good stuff. I actually had somebody the same, like the next day or the same day that I was at the same conference. So
Yeah.
I guess it must have been everybody had craziness in their head.
Yeah.
I have a program, a LinkedIn program, and I have a Facebook group for the program. And somebody got on there and just started bitching about that it's a dating site. And,
because of the Charlotte Proudman thing, probably.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, oh God, like, okay, well, listen, first of all, you know what they look like, you know how much money they make, you know if they're employed. So, I'm not going to say, that it's not, that you shouldn't look at it that way. Right. That being said, that's obviously that is not what we're looking to do, right? So, but it was interesting, same kind of thing, like, I like to focus on, okay, well, if you connect with all these people, or people can connect with you about, with, ignore that, and then be the one to be reaching out to people. And, obviously if there's a security issue, you've got to, you've got to address that. But most of the times those are not security issues. They're just,
bad taste
people
issue.
you want to just ignore and focus on the good stuff,
You guys make me laugh because my girlfriend, beautiful, very successful, well into the six figures, and, hates the Match.com stuff. And I said this to her a year ago. I'm like, you need to start looking at your LinkedIn connections. Go to Facebook, see if they're married or not.
Exactly. Well, hey, you can even find out if they're married or not on LinkedIn with the person.
I know. I kind of want to change the title of this blab to LinkedIn. Is it the dating site of the new generation?
Or not?
And, see if we get some more people on here.
Here we go. Exactly. Well, it's funny because we did our blab yesterday on fake profiles on LinkedIn, and one of the things, why do people even do that? One of them was to legitimize catfishing. So if someone reaches out to you on Match.com and you want to double check and make sure they're real, they have a LinkedIn profile, they must be real. Well, not necessarily, but LinkedIn as a dating site, use it or not.
Right.
That's what I didn't realize how prevalent is the fake LinkedIn profile, because I will connect with people, business people, whatever. Now you have me thinking, are they not legitimate, or could they not be?
They might not be. I probably get, well, it's hard to say for sure, but I'd say about 10% of the invites I get to connect are probably from fake accounts.
Is there a way to tell?
They're getting smarter, so it's not as obvious as it used to be. One of the things is, of course, the fake profile photo. What Andy Foote was talking about was it TinEye, TinEye.com, to actually check on the photo to make sure that it's a real photo, if they even upload a photo. So, the photo stock high cleavage photo is probably might not be a real person. The other thing is they usually have a really high position at a Fortune company. So, they're a senior recruiter at Apple, something like that. Even though they're 22 years old, according to their photo. And of course, they went to school at Harvard or Yale or one of the Ivy Leagues from 2005 to 2009, usually. They have no work experience. Apparently, at 22 years old, they graduated from Harvard, immediately got a position as senior recruiter at Apple. They have 500 connections. They're connected to 50 groups, and that's essentially all the profile has. So those people are probably not real. But LinkedIn scammers and spammers have gotten a lot more savvy, so it's harder to tell now. Basically, you just wait for the request for money, or the request to donate to my daughter's, can you donate to my daughter's fund on Funder because she has a broken leg or whatever. There's always some immediate request for monetary support. So but unfortunately, like on Twitter, like on Facebook, there's a lot of fake accounts out there.
Right.
I honestly,
they're not necessarily a risk to you. They're just going to be an annoyance, and for the most part.
Exactly.
But
I will tell you guys, never would have thought of that in a million years.
See, and it was interesting.
If I got an email asking for money, of course I wouldn't do that. Right. But I never would have thought of LinkedIn as being that place where those people are. But why not?
Why not? And it was kind of scary because what we talked about, and I see Michael's on today, and so is Andy. Hi, Andy. We're just talking about you. One of the things is that, and Andy, do you have a life? Like, seriously, dude, you're always on Blab. I love Andy Foot's the best. I totally lost what I was going to say here. Something dating.
I was saying
I can't remember.
That I couldn't believe that LinkedIn was a place for that.
Oh, yeah. And you know what we were talking about yesterday was that it's kind of, again, for influencers like Karen and for you, if we accidentally connect to one of those scumbags and then they kind of use our connection to legitimize their profile on LinkedIn, right? Because one of our friends, Neil, was connected to someone who a fake account, and that's kind of scary. And I've got 30,000 connections. Like, even though my assistant is going through and kind of pulling out the people we obviously know are fake accounts, how do you keep on top of it, especially when you're have that many connections, you know?
Right.
So when you say obvious, that's the Harvard, Yale,
the Harvard,
CEO of Apple, or one below, and okay.
But you know, like we were saying yesterday, they're getting a lot more savvy. They're using more realistic looking photographs. The names aren't so obviously fake. They're starting to build out their profiles a little bit more. Really, I think the tin eye tip that Andy gave us was probably the best way if they have a photo. And if they don't have a photo, I usually won't connect.
Yeah,
I will not connect with anyone without a photo.
Yeah,
I will not do it.
Yeah, I won't either on anything anymore.
Correct. Me either.
Yeah. Even a logo makes me nervous. I mean, if it's an obvious brand, maybe a logo, but yeah, even like logos on Twitter, I'm not so big on it. And it goes against LinkedIn's end user agreement to use a logo for your personal image on your profile. So that's, some things to be aware of. No go on the logo.
Right.
It's a no.
Yeah, I have one client that will not take his logo off his LinkedIn profile. And he's just like, I stand out from everybody. I cannot. He's the owner of the company. So I've got all the salespeople using it, and they're all using it really well, but the friggin' owner of the company refuses to put his picture on there. There's like nothing I can do. It drives me insane.
Me too. I've got, one of my companies, big national company, the head of marketing won't put his picture up. And I did a training for the marketing and the sales team. And I'm using you as an example. You have to upload he won't upload his photo. I'm like, do you even exist? Like, are you that ugly? Why won't you upload your photo?
Well, and
he doesn't have any photo.
With you guys talking about photos, because I coach, my PR clients on this too, that, LinkedIn is not where you're posting your happy hour picture, with a martini in your hand. This is business. It's business to like, don't post with your kids. This should be your headshot, your yeah, exactly. Selfie.
Yes.
I love the lens with like.
That leads us right to today's topic, right?
Yeah.
Today's topic, which is, and for me, so while I do teach and talk LinkedIn strategy,
right?
Like for the most part, it drives me crazy when people don't have great profiles, because the strategy is 100 times more effective if they've taken the time to do a profile first. And that's kind of why I started doing LinkedIn. Like I don't make everybody do Facebook. Like I have social media clients. I don't make everyone do Twitter, but man, I make everybody do LinkedIn. I make them all have a great LinkedIn profile because, and that's kind of the first step to me in a social. If you want to use social media to get seen and be heard, the first thing you need to do is do a great LinkedIn profile. And like Christina said, have a great photo and really, just kind of step into it, your greatness. And it's not easy to do in a lot of times.
No, my favorite is the photo that looks like this, and the ex-boyfriend is clearly on the other side. Like, hi.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right, Karen. And it's funny because I'll have people who query me and want me to work with them and say, but we just want strategy. We don't want yet another profile, optimization. And I'm like, okay, I get that. And we're going to definitely work on strategy. But if your profile looks like crap, you're losing credibility left, right, and center.
Right.
And
your
strategy's
not going to work.
To have a good profile, and your strategy is not going to work, or it's going to be a lot less effective, Right. And so it's unfortunate, but most of the people I work, well, as do you, we work with these big corporations. And in general, the branding, the personal branding of the employees is atrocious. I mean, it does not represent the company in any way, shape, or form. And of course, the issue is that your profile belongs to you. Your corporation cannot tell you what you can and cannot do. It belongs to you, but nonetheless, it usually is damaging to the corporation as opposed to supporting it in its branding and its messaging.
And you know what, if you go to a company page and you go to the employees that are linked to the company page and you start clicking on them, and one after another, you see people that look like rock stars. That makes the company look better, right?
Oh, it looks good.
I'm always preaching to companies like, stop thinking your employees are going to get a new job if they have a great profile, right? Like invest in them, invest in their personal brands, and they make you look better. And if that starts happening, people start leaving for another job, then you have bigger problems than LinkedIn. That is not the issue.
Yeah, it's amazing to me because I get that all the time too. Well, I don't want to teach our employees how to look for jobs on LinkedIn. I'm like, well, I'm going to teach them, sales gen techniques, and they can of course apply that to looking for a job. I can't brainwash them or mind control them to only use this. But you're exactly right. If that's your primary concern is that everyone's going to fly the coop, then you got bigger problems on your plate, and you should probably talk to some of these culture strategists before you talk to me.
Then bring us back in to talk about LinkedIn.
Bring us back in. Yeah, it's funny.
So true. I just did a talk. In fact, Christina, it's so nice that we're both in our home offices because the last few weeks, one or the other of us was on the road, and I was actually at a corporation last week, and they set me up with a room to do this at afterwards, and it was a mess. But the talk wasn't a mess. And basically, I had a lot of people, and you have to be careful if you're talking to if the corporation's paying you to speak to their employees, and then questions come up and they say, well, I have this side business. How do I promote this? And, you've really got to be careful as the employee, or almost as the contractor of the company, how you respond to those questions. But the reality is so many people have these side gigs now, like so many people do. And it comes up a lot, and it's going to come up for your people with or without you helping them do a great profile.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Right.
And quite frankly, a lot of these employees, they'll have their part-time gig. They'll realize how hard it is to be an entrepreneur, and they'll happily go back to being an employee too. I would if I was employable, but I don't think I could work for a big corporation anymore. So I would really love that regular. Exactly.
Oh my gosh!
No, that's not going to work.
What would you say is the first thing that you talk to people about? If you were talking to entrepreneurs, small businesses, individual business owners, what would be the first step you would say they should take on LinkedIn to get seen and be heard, to really become more visible?
Yeah. So first of all, look good, just like we've been saying, make sure that you use that hero image. You've got this great opportunity for branding, and that little banner that goes on top of your profile. I don't know. I haven't seen the stats. I would guess 20 to 30% of the people who have access to it use it, and probably 50% more who are using it just put something stupid up there or it doesn't fit. They've uploaded their logo and it's all gray and blurry and not centered. Very, very few people use that effectively. So that would be one thing. What a cheap way to create this national branding. One of my clients, Ventive, I love what they did with theirs because it's the same branding, but because they have offices in different countries, or different cities around the world, they've got like Sydney and Chicago and New York City and London as the backdrop. So I thought that was a beautiful way to do branding, to show that the international nature of the company, and it makes everyone, at least on the marketing and the sales team, because no one else in the company did it, but the marketing and the sales team looks awesome. Right. Easy thing to do, really easy thing to do, whether you're solopreneur and there's just one of you, or, which reminds me, I have to get my assistant and my VA to put my hero image up on their profiles. Do as I say, not as I do.
Right.
I'm like, duh. That just occurred to me that my assistant didn't have that up.
That's a really good idea. That's a really good idea.
right? Like, and even though like I only have one full-time employee and VAs and a bunch of contractors, if I can talk them into all putting it up, now it looks suddenly like I've got, 10 people working underneath me when really I only have one full-time. So that I'm like, note to self. So that's one thing. The other thing is, unfortunately or fortunately, LinkedIn still works kind of like simplified Google. The more keywords in your profile in a strategic way that doesn't look gross, the more likely you are to get found. So make sure that you do have that list of keywords, and where you can bake them in naturally into your experience section, into your summary section, into your skills. Love-hate relationship with endorsements, but still got to have them, right?
High-five you on that one.
Yeah, I know, exactly. People care about numbers. They just do.
How many is, too many keywords? What is there, like a magic number? I mean, I know, like, press releases, you don't want 20 or 30 keywords, stacked in there. So what's a good for a LinkedIn profile?
I don't think LinkedIn has any kind of limitations to keywords. What you don't want to do is that keyword stuffing. Like how many, especially internet marketing specialists, right? They get found first on LinkedIn, and then you go to their profile, and it's literally 60 experience sections that just say, internet marketing guru, and it looks horrendous. It just, those keywords, whether you have 3 or 30, they just need to be baked into your profile in such a way that it reads well, because you can attract people all day long, like if you've got really good SEO on your website. But as you know, Christina, if your profile doesn't read well, they're not going to call you. They're not going to follow up with you. So most importantly, your profile needs to read well to the audience that's looking at it. So yeah, those are just a few things. And the summary section, that is such a ignored and very important top of the fold section on LinkedIn. It's really where you get to tell your story in 2,000 characters or less. And I think people, the field looks like it's this big, so you think you only have 200 or 300, characters to work with. B, they don't know the purpose of it, and the purpose is to tell people your story and why they should work with you. And then even though it's not really about visibility, I think one of the most important things is know your audience and know what they're interested in, know what their needs are, and know what their wants are, and pretty much focus your profile on what they need, not what you do. And I think that's a huge failing, because again, it's all well to be seen, but you've got to be heard too, right? You've got to engage your audience. And if they're seeing a bunch of stuff that you do and they don't understand how that relates to how they can improve their business, you're less likely to get the follow-up email or phone call or message.
Like people think that they should use CEO or president. It makes you feel like a big deal, but nobody cares that you're CEO.
No.
They want to know what you can do for them.
Yeah.
So, we help, blah, blah, blah. Right. Who you help, how you help them.
Exactly.
It's so much more interesting to people than I'm CEO, Yeah.
Everyone's a CEO.
What do you both recommend for the summary? Should that be, and I've heard it both ways, so since I've got the experts on the line, first person or third person, your summary?
Depends on your audience. Like if I've got an executive, I've got a Fortune 500 executive looking for another executive position in a traditional industry, then probably third person. If I've got a life coach looking to promote her life coaching business in the marijuana field, because I live in Colorado, probably first person. It really depends. It's huge. I'm seriously have considered, like, do I do LinkedIn for, MJ LinkedIn MJ, do I do that? Because there's such a huge audience. I don't think it would go along with my branding.
That's a great niche. Talk about a great niche product.
Oh my God. Yeah.
See how this is branded back here, Viveka? Just imagine what you could do.
Big green.
Those five leaves.
I see it. Exactly. I see it.
And I'd be so relaxed when I was doing
Hey, what do you think?
I could have all kinds of banners.
Let me get a snack. Hold on.
Exactly. Where are my chips? I need my chips. I got dry mouth. Anyway, Sorry, off on a tangent. One of my clients.
I would agree.
Right. Okay.
I think I would probably lean more to first person than not. Like if you ask me one or the other, I'd say try it in first person. But again, there's been people that say they want to see it both ways, and sometimes I'll show it to them both ways if we're helping them write it, and then they can kind of choose. But I like people to think that they're talking to you, right? So if it says Karen does, then it's, I don't know, it's a little, there's a little disconnect, right? But if it says I help or then I think it's a little more connecting. So if you can, I really like first person, but I agree, Viveka, there are times that it just needs to be third person. But for the most part, people listening to this, I write it in first person.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, my lawyers, my lawyers who work in the big law firms in New York City, who work with traditional businesses, conservative businesses, third person, pretty much. Yeah, everyone else. But your audience. You know what they're expecting from you.
Like
exactly. Was that Seinfeld or something? Who kept referring to themselves in the third person? Exactly.
Well, to your point about the hero image, we worked on a client's profile recently, and he's an accountant. He's a CPA, he's a payroll company, all things that are not all that sexy, but we did our best to make it look really interesting. But we struggled with him on the hero image. And, I finally said to him, and I happen to know a lot about his personal life as well. I said, send me some pictures of your sailboat, because I know he loves to race his sailboats. So I ended up putting a picture of a sailboat on there and saying, now we're humanizing your profile a little bit.
Exactly.
We're using it to humanize it. So after we struggled with logos and brands and colors and pictures of money and pictures of books, and we landed on a picture of his sailboat, because it humanized. I feel like it humanized him, and I said it gives people. You've got sailing in your interest, so it gives people something to talk to you about.
Exactly right.
Yeah. So you need to kind of sometimes think out of the box.
Raising the hand. You both keep talking about hero image. For those of us who are non-LinkedInies, is that the bar across the top?
Across the top, that kind of goes around the top of your profile. Yes.
Right.
Okay, everybody got that? Because I didn't. So now we know.
Now we know. I know if I could get CamTwist to actually work, I could show you what I was talking about. But all I've been able to do is get the my business name across the bottom.
Right.
Yeah, screenshots. Okay, guys at Blab, get us screenshots. Get us the ability to show screenshots.
You know what? And they're moving fast.
They're getting there.
They're so freaking awesome. I love those guys. They are amazing.
I keep thinking it's like Brittany back in a back room, like answering all the emails.
Yeah, exactly. They're listening in on all the calls and answering all the emails. Probably.
Right.
I used to joke in my other business when I didn't have any employees, when the phone would ring and be like, "Can I have sales? One moment, please. Hi. Can I have the accounting department? One moment, please. Hey."
Hello. I know they did that commercial. Exactly. That's me. Hello, can we help you? Just 1 moment, please.
Okay, so I have more LinkedIn questions for the two of you.
Yes.
How important are the endorsements, and how are they versus the actual written, whatever you call them, testimonials or
recommendations?
Recommendations. Thank you.
I mean, two different things, right? So I prefer recommendations as far as actual recommendations. Because it's longer, it's more thoughtful. People have made an effort. In my opinion, an endorsement is just like a Facebook like. It's kind of brainless. And that being said, people look at those numbers. So if you're purporting to be an expert in marketing and you've got no endorsements under marketing, there might be an issue there. The other thing is you can always use endorsements as an opportunity to engage. So when someone endorses you, you can say, "Hey, thank you so much for the endorsement." And if you're one of those purists who get upset when someone endorses you for something that you don't think they know that you do that well, you can always say, "Hey, thanks so much for endorsing me on LinkedIn. Did you attend one of my webinars?" Or you can use it as an opportunity to start a conversation. So while you will absolutely get endorsed for things you don't do, I guarantee it. And if you've got a more open network by people you don't know, the fact is it's numbers, people look at it. And it also helps with getting found on LinkedIn. I
was just going to ask you that. I agree.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a
like
necessary
SEO.
evil.
Yeah, it's SEO.
Yeah, it is. So if you've got 100 plus people endorsing or 99 plus people endorsing you for a skill, that's keywords that you don't have to stuff in some places that helps bring your profile up for more things. I agree. What drives me crazy though, and listen, I love when people endorse me. I'm grateful for every single one of them. That being said, if you want to do something nice for me, write me a recommendation, right? Like, so I think that people use endorsements instead and are not taking the time to write recommendations. And that I think is sad, because I think that I don't want to see people not recommending people thinking that the endorsement is helping them just as much, because it's not. The recommendation is so much more powerful.
Well, it's just like on Facebook when someone likes. I was just say it's just like on Facebook when someone likes instead of comments. I thank you for liking it. Yeah.
But why?
yeah, exactly.
But it really sounds like that they each have a place. That those endorsements, if that kind of bumps your SEO, your searchability, and then they get there, and then you have all these amazing recommendation letters. That's kind of a win-win.
Yeah, exactly.
I think so, but I like that you call them purists or not purists, because I'm not a endorsement purist. I'm not.
No,
you have to earn a recommendation from me. You absolutely have to earn a recommendation from me. But if you told me, if we're doing some work together or we're in a group together, and you told me you want more endorsements for these 5 things, I'm happy to go in and do it. You know what I mean? That's part of your strategy, right? That's part of your strategy. So, I use that example because I think I love to encourage everybody listening to do that. Like, look at the 5 things or 8 things or 10 things that you want to be known for, and ask people in your mastermind to endorse you for those things. Like, that's an easy strategy to help build up your SEO without stuffing keywords. If you've got a group of people that are, like you said, not such purists. That's part of your strategy, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I would have never thought of that. That's fascinating to ask.
Yeah. And what I like about it is when someone gives you an endorsement, you can just hover over their picture and it'll, the message, that their picture, their profile link, and a little message button will pop up. So it's super easy to thank people for. My assistant goes through, and everyone who endorses me every day, they get a thank you message, and please let us know if we can do anything for you. I've gotten speaking gigs out of it. So, it works, and I pay her, I don't know, it's like probably 2 hours a month. So if I can, change $50 into $5,000, I'm willing to do that.
Right.
Is there a way, because I'm taking you up on this, Viveka, and I'm going to start doing this. How do you know who endorses you that day? You just look at the pictures on the end, or?
You would have to ask her. No, she goes into my notifications.
Notifications, okay.
Actually, she's just doing it for me now. So, and LinkedIn, I believe, sends you a notification as well.
Yeah, and I get emails for endorsements, and I don't get emails for everything on LinkedIn, but I get emails for endorsements so that I can go in and decide if I want to endorse back or so. You can check.
Yeah, it's like that's a good question. I need to ask her because she monitors my. I've got a special email address I use for LinkedIn, so she gets it first, and then she forwards anything I need to pay attention to me. So, yeah. The old delegation thing.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna open up this seat and see if anybody wants to come join the conversation here.
Yeah. Speaking of notifications.
Go ahead.
Speaking of notifications, I just want to say, if you turned your notifications off for your inbox, turn them back on. The new LinkedIn Messenger is horrible and atrocious and gross, and I hate it. And I only because I am personally missing out. Every time I review my inbox, I find a message like from someone who's asked me to do work with them, and I somehow missed it. And I've got notifications turned on to go to my regular emails. So I would highly recommend, if you had that turned off because it was annoying before, turn it back on until they figure out this messaging thing. Anyway.
And I'll tell people a little trick that I do, because I get 500 emails a day. It's overwhelming sometimes, but I have all of my LinkedIn notifications go to a LinkedIn bucket. Like, I send it there. So when I want to know what's going on LinkedIn, I just pop into that inbox, and I can focus all LinkedIn, get back to people, and
Yeah, that's absolutely the thing to do, because otherwise it gets lost in there. And quite frankly, I think LinkedIn doesn't always send me my mail. So at least if it's in one place, because it stacks, just like Gmail, what do they call it with the Gmail stacking? The messages do that too. So at least if I get one today, I might see something from 3 days ago.
Well, and I told you, Viveka, because your email says LinkedIn in it. When we first became friends and we're emailing, I'm like, why does she keep going in my LinkedIn bucket? Because it was at LinkedIn. And so now I know if we're emailing, I need to go in there more often to find you.
Exactly. I'll have to use, do I have it? I don't have an email without my, oh no, I'll use my Gmail with you from now.
Yeah, I think I have it now. I think I do. But when we first met, it was like, oh.
Where is she?
All right, welcome, John.
Hey, John.
Actually, Cheval's the first name. Sorry.
Oh, it is Cheval. I was right. Oh, good.
Hey.
Chevalier.
Yeah.
Welcome. Tell us a little bit about you and what you're doing.
Yeah.
I run a online media company called Volano Media, in the process of turning it into a consultancy, social media consultancy for sports organizations. I also host a podcast called What's the Word. Recently now recording here on Blab, and author of 2 books too.
And you're in St. Croix?
No, I'm actually here in Houston, Texas right now. I'm from St. Croix.
Oh, okay. Oh,
we were all going to volunteer to come do some work.
Yeah, I was totally like, when are you doing your next conference? And we'll all be there.
We'll all be there.
I'm in for that.
Although
but Houston is lovely too.
Yes, oh, yeah. Houston is lovely. Certain areas.
Yeah. I have a question about publisher. Like, what's y'all's what's your take on repurposing your content on Publisher?
It's fine, in my opinion. Yeah, I as far as now, I'm not nearly. I don't do Publisher nearly as well as my friend John White, who's like killing it. But he's got a blog and he's got Publisher, and he actually is a professional writer, so he writes for Dice and some other magazines as well. And he'll repurpose his content. And as far as we've been able to tell, and he gets 800,000 views, on some of his posts. So as far as we've been able to tell, there's no issue. What I would say is make sure that the content that you repurpose is relevant to LinkedIn. And relevant to your audience on LinkedIn, obviously, and make sure the imagery, at least the one main image, I don't know what one would call it, but your primary or your main image that shows up, make sure that's the right size, because sometimes that doesn't move over. And then the other thing is, even though you've kind of got an automatic byline with your LinkedIn profile, I like it putting, I guess, this is a real term, folks, but I guess what it's called, your bottom of the page byline is actually called a Johnson box, after some guy named Johnson. I don't know. It sounded like something dirty to me, but apparently that's really what it's called. But make sure you've got that at the bottom as well, with maybe a link to your website or a link to your author page or a link to something else. Use Publisher to drive traffic. What I will tell you is I get, 100,000 hits on my website on average per month. I still get more views, likes, and shares on my published posts than I do on my website. So I like owning my own ground, which is why I still write a blog, but I get more visibility on LinkedIn Publisher. And a friend of mine, he's done over now I think it's $1 million in sales that he can directly link to articles he's written on Publisher. I haven't had that kind of success.
Wow,
awesome. He sells airplanes. I mean, each commission's like $200,000, but that's crazy. But anyway, that was a really long answer to yes, you can repurpose your content.
And my position is we're working hard to create the content for our blog, right? As many places as you can repurpose it, as many new audiences as you can get it in front of, you should do that. And I'm not an SEO expert, and I've asked a ton of people this question: is there any Google dings for doing this? And nobody can tell me. The people that say yes are people that can't substantiate it.
That's
just
exactly
what they've heard for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So they'll be like, oh, you can't do that. But then I say, why can't I do that? And they don't know.
Right.
The people that know SEO say, no, it's not, you're not going to get dinged. Google knows that it first went to your blog. And worst case scenario, if somebody searches for something, and instead of them being sent to your blog, they get sent to
Sent to
LinkedIn, but
LinkedIn
at least
instead.
you're still getting sent to you.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's
You know?
exactly. I agree.
Okay.
So quick follow-up. So like in
Yeah.
the headline, should you change your headline on your LinkedIn, like publisher, if it's like the same on your blog, or should you just keep it?
Again, I would say do your research. So ideally, of course, we would love our published posts to get put onto Pulse. I have not been able to achieve that yet because I only talk about LinkedIn, and they're really snotty about that. But but my friend John, who gets on Pulse all the time, what he'll do is he'll take an article that maybe he wrote for Dice, so he has an idea already of the content that he's sharing. He'll go into a channel where he expects to be seen, like job seekers or entrepreneurship. He'll look at the titles that are getting shared and that are getting the views. And he might, so if a lot of like top 10 ways to become an entrepreneur, if there's a certain trend, he may change the title to suit that trend, right? He might do a top 10 or 5 ways to. My friend Dave Kirpin, who's an influencer, capital I-influencer, so he's one of the chosen few who's actually vetted by LinkedIn. He does a lot of 10 ways, 5 best. Here's what 6 influencers say about. So he uses a lot of numbers. But I would say just do your research. Look at the channels that you want to be in. See what's trending as far as titles and keywords in titles. And then, maybe you change your title according to that.
All right. Thanks a lot for the answers.
Our pleasure, Shmuel.
Yeah.
All right, and there were questions. I had the same question. What is Pulse? And then Karen answered in the chat box. But what again? Remember, we are two are LinkedIn experts. We over here.
Before we get to Pulse, I want to just take a few steps back. Somebody asked in the chat how your hero image and my hero image, you can see the text on it.
Right.
And I actually put a link to somebody else's Pulse that I found that was freaking awesome. That basically shows you exactly where you want to put the text and the pictures and everything on your hero image. So scroll up a little bit. It is there's a link to a Pulse article that shows you, that gives you a template exactly where to put your images that you can send to your designer or go on Canva and and do. So now we can move forward back to Pulse.
Okay. So now Pulse. How do you do it? Do you apply to write on Pulse, or does LinkedIn find your blog and then they put it on Pulse?
So what I've been told, so Pulse, just as a background, so you've got LinkedIn Publisher, which is essentially your blog on LinkedIn. It's your ability to create long form posts. What you write is a post, Publisher is the tool, and Pulse is the newsreader that they actually purchased. It was an iPad app. It was a great iPad app until LinkedIn bought it. It was an iPad app which they put into which LinkedIn took and used the programming to replace their Today app. And it allows you to potentially get your article next to the latest on what's happening with Kim Kardashian. So the nice thing is, if your published post does get put into the Pulse platform, you're now visible not only to your network, but to everyone potentially on LinkedIn, and even people who aren't on LinkedIn but do have that Pulse app on their tablet or their iPad. Now, this is what I've been told. I've somewhat been able to substantiate it, again, with my friend John. Apparently, there is an algorithm, because there's over 1 million people publishing now, so that's way too many articles for someone on LinkedIn to physically put their eyes on. So there's an algorithm of views to likes to shares. If you're, and I don't know what that is, I wish I knew what that was, but it's, if you've got enough, and it doesn't matter if you have 100,000 views or 200 views, it's views to likes to shares. So apparently if you hit that algorithm, it does go to a physical person who then reads it, looks at it, and decides if it's worthy of Pulse. So you have to write good content too. You can have, a lot of good friends on LinkedIn who are willing to like and share your content, but if your content sucks, it's never going to get into Pulse. So you have to write good content. You have to have good imagery. It has to be somewhat professional. Unfortunately, my friend John told me the other day, the person that they had kind of on top of all this, I think she was called an assignment editor, no longer has that job. So now I'm not entirely sure how it goes there, but I do know that someone has to lay physical eyes on it in order for it to go to Pulse. You know, if it was fully automated, there's probably a way we could game the system. But as far as we've been able to tell, it's editors. It's real editors. Once you've had a few articles. Oh, so one thing to do is, if you are fortunate enough to get into Pulse, go and look at who's viewed your profile. Because chances are a LinkedIn editor has viewed your profile, because of course they had to view your profile to view your content.
That's a really
to put
good
it in. Right. And so then develop a relationship. So John has developed a relationship with his LinkedIn editor, who he won't give me their name. But he's developed a relationship with the editor who I mean, any given post of his gets 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 views, which is really good, because the more and more competition you get, the less views your article is likely to get. But I still love Publisher. I think it's a fabulous marketing
I
tool.
do too. And from the perspective, from the Get Seen, Be Heard perspective, when people check out your profile and they see the articles associated with your profile, it instantly kind of positions you as a little bit more influential, because not everybody is using that. And, you know, when I speak to college students, I say, which is one of my favorite audiences to speak to, I say to them, how many papers have you written in the last 4 years that you can repurpose and put on? Then when you look for a job, no one's doing this. None of your peers are doing this. So when you look for a job and people check out your LinkedIn profile, you've got these publications already on there, and you're not even writing. You already wrote them. You're just repurposing them. You know, so we've all got stuff.
So to that example, my friend John, who's the one who gets all the views, he put his master's thesis up there. His master's marketing thesis up there. That's the one that got the 800,000 plus views.
Wow.
So, by the way, content needs
people want to copy it.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, and he had a job offer. Like, I think about all the writing I did. I was an English major. I think about all the writing I did that one person, maybe two people. My mom saw it because she helped me edit, and then the professor saw it, and that was the last time that saw the light of day. Now here you have including my thesis. Now here you have a thesis that you wrote for your program to get your MBA or even your BA or whatever. It goes on LinkedIn. It gets hundreds of thousands of views, and now you've got 3 or 4 job offers and consulting offers, etc. before you ever graduate. Like, how cool is that?
Right. I can talk about that for an hour. Like, get recommendations from your professors. If you're in the school newspaper, if you write for the newspaper, get the editor to write you a recommendation.
Right.
Graduate with a full boat of LinkedIn recommendations and endorsements and connections to your alumni associations, and job becomes you're just giving yourself so much fuel.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely. And I wish LinkedIn was around back in the Stone Ages when we were still carving our papers on rock. But Moses and I with our tablets.
You know what? I have kids that are college age, and none of them have great LinkedIn profiles. No. They don't want to hear anything that their mother has to say. They don't want to hear it from you. Yeah. But their friends come to me.
Yeah.
But their friends come to me. Their friends, I've helped them with their profiles, and one of my kids actually was looking for a job, and I got all right, Mom, let's do it. Let's do it. And for the poor kid, within a half an hour, he got 400 notifications. I was connecting him all over the place. Exactly. He made the mistake of giving me his password, and
Exactly.
Isn't that funny when you have kids? Like, my kids could care less if I'm on TV or whatever. Their friends think, oh my God, that's so cool. My really?
More embarrassing.
Yeah. So,
just Mom. Yeah. My husband is the same way. He could care less. I'm like, oh, guess where I got interviewed today? Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
You're just jealous.
That's why we have each other, so that we can pat ourselves.
Exactly.
Right. We'll build each other up.
Yeah.
Good stuff, ladies. Good stuff. Oh my God.
2 minutes left. Anybody else? Take advantage of this. I write notes, people, like crazy, as I always do. I love when you guys, I learned so much today. It was unbelievable.
Yay.
Good.
Aren't we glad? Because Karen and I are like, everyone knows this, right?
I know. It's so
true.
What
somebody told me? Somebody said, and I use this when I speak, if it's easy, you're good at it. So like I say the same thing. What do you mean you can't get any coverage in your local paper? Like to me, that's a no-brainer. But the people are like, how do you do this? How do you do this? Tell me everything. So just remember, as you're talking about all these things we don't know, I'll just keep jumping in. And
perfect.
Right.
I need to be on every webinar I've ever done and just go like, Viveka, no one knows what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So I don't know your name, where you're engaged.
This is Wendy.
Hi, Wendy.
Hey. Hi, everybody. Thanks for everything. This has been really useful. I am a corporate coach, and I help companies create sustainability, education, and engagement programs for their employees.
Nice.
And so LinkedIn's a big thing for me. I'm part of lots of groups. Like some of the sustainability professional groups I'm in, there's like 20,000 people, So LinkedIn's really big for me. And I mean, although, I've been on LinkedIn for a while and I've been working on my profile, I'm just wondering, like for example, I'll have some really big people visiting my profile like several times. So so I'm terrible at the awkwardness of like, hi, I noticed you noticing me. Like, what would be your best piece of advice for interacting with people who have been looking at your LinkedIn page?
Yeah, and I'm getting a little feedback here, but
Are you hearing me in the background here? Or is it just me?
Yeah, there's definitely a whole nother conversation going on.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, and now
I don't hear it.
Blab.
That Wendy's not
now
speaking. I think it was another blab that was coming in on top of us.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah. That was weird.
Okay, now we're good.
Yeah,
keep
now we're
going,
good.
Wendy.
Okay. So sorry, Wendy.
So
sorry,
Wendy,
but I just wanted to make sure we got a clearer audio.
Sorry,
so Wendy, you were asking about. Yeah, I can hear you now. So you were asking about when people are, Wendy, were you asking about when people view your profile, like what's the best way to engage with them?
Yeah, like because honestly, I find it really awkward. Like I said, it's like, hi, I you noticing me. Like, what do you say? What do you think the best thing to do is? Because I've actually had some really like environmental global VPs companies, and I'm like, oh my god! But then what? Stop them.
Here's and this was really hard for me because I've got two clients that they're like literally like freaking rock stars, and I try to be like all cool when I'm working with them. I'm like, yeah, so how's Jessica Alba doing? But it's like, and then inside I'm going, oh boy. So how this is relevant is, you have to think of yourself always in being psychologically in kind of a peer-to-peer relationship. So when someone does look at your profile and they are someone who's like the most amazing prospect ever, you still want to keep it respectful, but also casual. I'll do something like, hey, notice you viewed my profile. Congratulations on that award you won. Or I was reading your profile too. Or, thank you for viewing my profile. I checked you out. Man, that's amazing what you just did on, mentioned on Twitter, or love your last article. Or I'll reference something so they know that I've taken a little time with them. Also, so that they'll get the sense that it's not super creepy, that I know that they viewed my profile. And that's one of the few places I'll actually use an InMail if someone's not connected to me. Of course, if they're connected to me, I'll just send them a quick message. But really, it's that peer-to-peer. You don't want to be disrespectful, but you also don't want to be like, oh my God, I'm so excited that you reached out to me. I don't know if that helps at all, but that peer-to-peer and always referencing research. I don't usually jump into the sales pitch like, hey, and I noticed your LinkedIn profile sucks. Do you need some help with that? But I will, say, hey, and since you viewed my profile, if I can answer any questions for you, I'd be more than happy to do so, and just kind of leave it at that. But it's great for a couple of reasons. First of all, they know that you're interested and active, that they took the time, that you've got some stake in the game because you've taken 10, 15, 20 minutes or seconds to view their profile and look at what they're doing. You could do some deeper research on them, have some solutions already available. But the other thing is top of mind awareness, because they probably looked at 15 people like you today. But you're the only one who responded, so you're the one who gets the conversation. So never be afraid to reach out to someone who's viewed your profile. And honestly, all people who are right? Competitors of mine, like Karen and I, technically, I suppose we're competitors,
right?
But here we are promoting each other on a blab, or actually Karen's promoting me, so thank you very much.
Right,
but
we did the same thing a couple weeks ago with one of my biggest competitors, but we work together. There's no such thing.
Exactly.
Things, like on that, I love when you have a chance, especially with somebody you don't know, to say something, like to actually say, I see you viewed my profile. But like, let's say it's like a previous client or somebody you had conversations with, and you don't want to be. You could also reach out to them. Don't even mention that, and then be like manipulate that universe a little bit. Like, I was just thinking about you. Like, they'll say, you know that they were just thinking about you, right? Because they were just on your profile.
Because they were just on your profile,
Exactly. So if you just email them and say, hey, I noticed you're doing this, this, and this. How cool. Is it time for a catch-up call? They were interested in you already, right? So like, let them think that it's this big universal coincidence, right? But really, you're manipulating, you're using that strategy of checking it out, right?
Yeah, that was totally my ninja trick back in the day when not everyone knew you could view someone's profile. I'd be like, let them think it's like coincidence. Let them think it's synchronicity.
Right.
But now people are probably
to flip that around, let people know that you've seen their profiles. If I'm on your profile, I'm clearly interested in what you have to say. I'm okay that I was on your profile. Like, people are always worried about that. Well, everybody knows if I'm on their profile. So what? Unless you're stalking your high school boyfriend, then, I think it's okay.
And look, we just brought it right back to LinkedIn as the dating site.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Thank God Facebook doesn't have that. That's all I'm saying. Thank God Facebook doesn't have who's viewed your profile.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, right.
So, did we answer your question? Because we have to wrap this up.
We just around. I'm like, my knees up on 20 pillows, and I'm trying to.
Got a good angle. You're looking thin.
Good. And I think Jennifer, I'm going to lock this. Jennifer, I would love to have brought you on. Jennifer from SynthShare just joined us. SynthShare, you guys all should check out SynthShare. Jennifer, I'm giving you free promo here. I met them at this conference last week, and it's a new social media management tool, mostly for Facebook and Pinterest right now, but it rocks. I was very, very impressed with it. So
very cool.
Check out. Jennifer, I'm going to put a link in here if you're still there. She probably just popped in for 1 second, and I'm like, I loved them, and
following you.
Yeah, you guys should check out SynthShare, and we got to wrap this up now, Jennifer. But everybody that's listening, check it out because it's awesome. It's very cool. It's good stuff.
And Jennifer, if SynthShare ever works with LinkedIn, please let me know.
I know.
I'm looking for third-party tools that work.
I was all over her for 2 days. Please.
Yeah, were you? Okay, make it so.
Okay, you ladies. Okay, so we're gonna wrap this up. Christina, you want to tell them a little bit about what we've got going on? So I'll tell you a little bit our next guest, and then Christina can tell us what else we've got going on. We've got Brian Fanzo coming off. Brian Fanzo, I absolutely love the man. Brian. He is so down to earth, so smart. I'm going to be talking about how he's used live streaming to really bring his brand to amazing heights in this last year. So I can't wait to hear what he has to say. We're going to, check Christina's account for the link to that in another day or so. That should be there. And then Christina, tell them what else we have going on.
So Karen and I have started a Lunch and Learn workshop, and she did an amazing one on Twitter last week, right? Where people were messaging within the first 5 minutes that, oh my God, this is amazing. So I am doing, Karen, I know we have the date a little wrong. It's Tuesday, December 8th.
It's fixed, yep.
Okay, so Tuesday, December 8th at noon. And I am going to be talking all about HARO, Help a Reporter Out. For those of you who followed me, I'm like one of their biggest success stories. I figured it out. I figured out the system to get these journalists to come back to you. I've been on Steve Harvey. I've been on Dr. Oz from a relationship I built with a producer, and I'll show you guys how to do that. I just had an amazing article in Forbes that just exploded both my businesses. I mean, it was just the sales. It was unbelievable. My book went back on the bestseller list. So I'm going to share exactly how to do it, how to set it up, how to make it so it doesn't take time. Everyone's always like, I don't have time for HARO. We're going to set up everything for you in that hour. So when you walk away, you are just ready to roll with HARO and start having success.
Wow. Okay. Send me that link because I want to be part of it.
I just put it at the bottom. So the top one that says NOV15 is the Twitter one, and the bottom one, which is December 15, is the HARO one. I'm with you, Viveka. Christina even forwards me emails sometimes and says, check out number 14, and I still ignore them. You know,
I know.
because I just get so overwhelmed with Arrow.
I do
We're
too.
going to write, everyone is going to write their responses right then and there. We're going to have a boilerplate that we're going to write for your business.
Right.
So when you leave, you have it ready to go.
And then
Awesome.
Viveka, then we can no longer look at Christina and go, really, you're in Forbes again? How did that happen? Right? Like, you know, I mean, now she's like, okay, Kara, you know, and how many times do I have to do this? So now I'm going to have no excuses. I'll have to do it.
That's
So,
awesome.
check it out. Check it out. And we'll be back in 2 weeks with Brian Fanzo. Yes. Viveka, thanks so much for being here. This was fun.
You are amazing.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you. I learned
amazing.
so much.
You're amazing. You're amazing.
We're all amazing.
We're all amazing.
Girl power.
Yay.
Yes, girl power. All right, ladies. We'll see you again soon. Thanks, everybody, for
Bye,
being
everyone.
here. Get seen, be heard. Look for us. We'll be back.
Thanks for joining us today on our Blab series, Get Seen, Be Heard. If you've missed any episodes, you can always find us at www.getseenbeheardtv.com/YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and you'll always be notified when we upload a new episode. We work together with clients, helping them combine social media and PR to get more customers and grow their business. If that sounds like something you'd like to learn more about, visit us at www.soartoprofit.com. We have regular workshops where we combine our expertise and show you how to use social media and publicity to get seen and be heard. See you next week.